Hi everybody, Norman Van Aken here with the Treasure Book series. I guess I don't often do contemporary chefs, but today's going to be different. I do my share of contemporary chefs, but I feel like there's so many people that have come and taught me that go back a few generations that I want to honor first and foremost. But there are people of my generation, and this particular chef is of my generation, that also have written extraordinary cookbooks that have become treasure books for me. And one such person is based in New York City, where he's been based for as long as I've been based in Florida, and his name is Alfred Portale. And this is his book, Alfred Portale's 12 Seasons Cookbook. Let's see when this book came out. It's been out a while. And that's no reason to think, well, why should I get a book that's been out such a long time? Because it stands up to time, that's why. And this one does stand up to time. Now, if I could just see when it came out. Gosh, oh, 2000, copyright 2000. Thank you, eyeballs, for working. Alfred Portale, let's go back a ways. I've been hearing about Alfred Portale for a number of years before I went to his restaurant then, the Gotham Bar and Grill in New York City, famous restaurant, and probably was in business for 30 years or more. People loved that restaurant. People made a lot out of his elevated, and I mean that not in a metaphorical sense, but in an actual sense of the height of his food. He constructed food in a very careful way, a jeweler's-like precision for mounting the food up. I get it. I understand it. It is not just for looks. It has to do with how you are going to experience different textures and different flavors by arranging them correctly. When people ask me about that with some derision, I say, think about a properly made BLT club sandwich and why that works. But I digress. When my first cookbook came out, it was in 1988, and we went on book tour from coast to coast. And of course, we went to New York City, and they asked me if we could do a press luncheon with Food and Wine magazine at Gotham Bar and Grill. Of course I said yes. I believe it was Susan Weiler that was working for Food and Wine magazine when we dined there that afternoon. What a great, beautiful restaurant, and the action and the vibration was extraordinary, and it just made me like him. For his imagination and for what he was creating there. He came to Florida, and we did a number of the South Beach Wine and Food Festivals over the years. Janet and I went back, not on a press junket, but just went back to enjoy the restaurant from time to time when we'd have business in New York City. The reason I like this book so much is the photography is beautiful, but I like his construction of the seasonality of it. This is a document that we use in our restaurant, and I learned of this first well before Alfred's book came out. It had to do with the Chez Panisse menu cookbook. Alice Waters put in something like this toward the back of the book. I imagine with Jeremiah's help. Who knows? Cooking with the Seasons. And when I was given that book in 1982 by Gordon Sinclair, Charlie had just started working with me, and we looked at this thing, and I said, we've got to do our version of it. Seasonality, of course, is different as you move from one climate to another climate. The seasonality of California is certainly much different than the seasonality for South Florida, as is the seasonality for where Alfred is in New York City. But I highly recommend you get something like this for wherever you live and follow the seasonality. Look at this. Come on in, camera lady. The contents of this book and the chapters are arranged by every month out of the year. Because he lives in New York City, He starts with May, not January, and he calls it the Big Bang of the culinary year. Why? Because this is when the dormant months of winter leave us and spring arrives with a blast, or a bang, as he puts it, and so on. June, summer settles in. July, birthdays and barbecues. It's thematic. You get it. As a cookbook reader, you could easily understand what the author's intending. We move to October. Things are cooling down. Sweater weather. Giving thanks. And then it goes on. As I said early, the photography is magnificent. The doability of the recipes is magnificent. I mean, I did talk about his presentations at the restaurant, but Alfred sensibly creates a book for the home cook. And I bet, since this book is now 25 years old, I bet you could get this on a website like Thrift Books for a song. And you should. I mean, these recipes still matter. Those of you that watch my show, the Treasure Book series, know that oftentimes there can be things stuck in the pages of the books that may take us back in time. And lo and behold, what we have here is when we would go to the restaurants back in the day. This was well before the internet, and you couldn't easily avail yourself to menus online. And so, of course, being well behaved, we would always ask the captain or the server or the chef if they would mind if we took a souvenir home with us. And apparently they said no problem, because here is a menu. I wish the date were on it. I'm pretty sure it's probably close to when this book came out, so it's been a little while. First course, second course, very straightforward. Chef Alfred Portale right there. Oftentimes people go, oh, look at those prices, but it's not like food was cheaper then. In a way, sometimes it was, but it's not a fair comparison, is what I'm trying to say. Take a screenshot if you like. I'm sure Alfred would be thrilled to see people still enjoying the creations from this particular menu in this particular time. Cooking with the seasons is not just sort of a soundbite. It is absolutely the way the greatest chefs and the greatest cooks approach the art of cooking. Jeremiah Tower, one of my mentor friends and heroes and friends, is on Substack. You got to follow him also. Just yesterday, he was talking about complexity, or the over complexity of food, by a lot of chefs versus finding the deep flavors of Mother Nature. Even, reputed bad boy Marco Pierre White of England will always talk about how Mother Nature is really the most important thing that we consider when it comes to food, not the chef. Although it can be said that simplicity also should sit side by side with luxury. And so Alfred goes into this area here with luxury ingredients. He calls them out, and they are the ones you would expect to find. You may not be a person who likes every one of them, but there's a place for these celebratory ingredients as well. But the main point is following in season and creating your menus around that, because it makes the most sense. I love the name of this one, The Dead of Winter Dinner. Well, Alice and Jeremiah did some amazingly funny and appropriate and tongue-in-cheek menu titles too. We'll just leave you with, in March, a long way from the month that we're in. I like the graphic detail of the way this art is laid out here too. So, Alfred Portale, 12 Seasons Cookbook, market-driven month after month. Chef owner of restaurant Danielle Boulou, he's praising it. Alice Waters, praising it. Just was speaking about Alice. That's a nice quote. Those are nice quotes. And he's a nice guy. He's got his own restaurant named for himself in New York now. I can't wait to get there and see what he's got going, because chefs evolve and chefs continue to put their heart and soul into what they do all the time, seasonally in this case. God bless him. Thanks, everyone. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great night, and let's eat together, cook together soon. Bye-bye.